Liberal documentary producer Michael Moore knows very well that the Second Amendment prevents his dream of disarming law-abiding American citizens. He's made a proposal to get rid of the amendment which protects the right to bear arms and replace it with his own invention. He posted his proposal on his Facebook page. Bearing Arms reports. My proposal to repeal the Second Amendment and replace it with this proposed 28th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. A well-regulated state National Guard, being helpful to the safety and security of a state in times of need, along with the strictly regulated right of the people to keep and bear a limited number of non-automatic arms for sport and hunting, with respect to the primary right of all people to be free from gun violence, this shall not be infringed. I, Michael Moore, along with all who support an end to this epidemic of gun violence, propose a new amendment to our Constitution that repeals the ancient and outdated Second Amendment, which was written before bullets and revolvers were even invented, and replaces it with a new 28th Amendment that guarantees states can have state militias, aka state National Guards, which are made up of citizen soldiers who are called upon in times of natural disasters or other state emergencies, allows individuals to use guns for sport and gathering food, and guarantees everyone the right to be free of, and protected from, gun violence, i.e., the public's safety comes ahead of an individual's right to own and fire a gun. This amendment would allow states and the federal government to pass laws that would regulate gun ownership in the following manner. As over 90% of gun violence is committed by men, in order for a man to purchase a gun, he must first get a waiver from his current wife, plus his most recent ex-wife, or any woman with whom he is currently in a relationship. If he's gay, he must get the waiver from his male spouse/partner. This law has greatly reduced most spousal/domestic gun murders in Canada. All automatic and semi-automatic guns are banned. No gun or clip can hold more than 6 bullets. To activate a gun for it to be used, the trigger must recognize the fingerprint of its registered owner. This will eliminate most crimes committed with a gun, as 80% of these crimes are done with a stolen gun. One's guns must be stored at a licensed gun club or government-regulated gun storage facility. Believing that having a gun in your home provides you with protection is an American myth. People who die from a home invasion make up a sad but minuscule 0.04% of all gun murders in the U.S. And over a third of them are killed by their own gun that the criminal has either stolen or wrestled from them. To own and operate a gun, one must obtain a license, like one does to operate a car. To get a license, you have to complete a gun training and safety course and pass a thorough background check. As nearly half of all gun deaths are suicides, mental health care must become a top national health priority and must be properly funded. And by making it more difficult to purchase a gun, and requiring its storage outside the home, easy access during a suicidal moment is denied. Current restrictions placed on the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, due to successful lobbying by the NRA, have prohibited them from studying the gun violence epidemic in the U.S. These rules need to be removed and the funding restored. Science will then be free to find out why we are alone among nations in killing each other at such a massive rate. Hint, it's not just the guns, it's us as Americans. Moore claims his proposed replacement of the Second Amendment would protect society. He concludes his post by urging his followers to let every candidate know in the upcoming midterm election that those who accept money from the NRA would be removed from office. Moore's suggestion that a gun's trigger should scan the user's fingerprint and fire only if its registered owner is holding the gun would not eliminate most crimes committed with a gun. People simply would use guns that don't scan fingerprints. Moore seems to believe that all those guns would be effectively confiscated and destroyed. That's simply not going to happen. The other, more ridiculous parts of the proposal are even more problematic. Bearing Arms reports. I guess we'll begin with the fact that his phrasing is beyond idiotic. The National Guard is funded by the federal government. It's their entity, so it has no bearing on the individual and their right to keep and bear arms, and never has. Second, the right to be free from gun violence is a lofty idea, but you're an absolute idiot if you think a gun ban would actually keep people free from gun violence. Look at Australia, with their incredibly strict gun laws. They have gun violence too. Disarming the public will never and has never rid the world of gun violence. It simply makes it easier for criminals to find unarmed victims. Men needing a waiver from a wife, ex-wife's, girlfriend, or partner is the most comical part of his speech. As over 90% of gun violence is committed by men, in order for a man to purchase a gun, he must first get a waiver from his current wife, plus his most recent ex-wife, or any woman with whom he is currently in a relationship. If he's gay, he must get the waiver from his male spouse/partner. This law has greatly reduced most spousal/domestic gun murders in Canada. There is no similar law in Canada. Moore is just blatantly lying on that point. The Royal Canadian's application for a possession and acquisition license under the Firearms Act states, "The signatures of your current or former conjugal partners is not legally required. However, if their signatures is not provided, the Chief Firearms Officer has a duty to notify them of your application for a firearms license." For the liberals who trust Moore to tell the truth, he's a good documentary maker. His documentaries, obviously, are full of lies just like this one. For less gullible Americans, he's tricking people into thinking he has a good idea the only way he knows how, by making things up. Apparently, Moore would like to get rid of the Equal Protection Clause as well, considering it prevents laws that would apply only to men and not women. Getting around the waiver portion of the amendment would be even easier than getting around the rest of it. A purchaser would simply need to lie, and say he or she doesn't have a boyfriend or girlfriend. Those who still taking Moore seriously hasn't done their research and doesn't realize how often he makes up facts to help his case. They're also not thinking outside the box of if it's illegal, nobody will do it, no matter how easy it is to get around. At any rate, it isn't surprising that Moore is still ridiculous. Some people, unfortunately, just can't see it.